Alright, what's up, reviewers? This is Smooth the Reviewer, and today I am back with the Classroom of the Elite content. It's been a minute since I've talked about Classroom of the Elite since my last videos going over Year 2, Volume 12, and Year 2, Volume 12.5. Two amazing volumes that we had for the end of the second year, and they were just they really just wrapped everything up pretty nicely, all things considered. If you want my full thoughts on those volumes, please go check out those videos. I'll put them up in like the iCard or whatever it's called. But in this video, I'm going to give you guys everything we know so far about this next volume, Year 3, Volume 1. We have all been waiting so impatiently and patiently for the third year, and it's finally here, guys. So the release date for Year 3 Volume 1 is March 24th, actually. So at the time of this recording, we've got about, I think, like 13 or no, 11 or 12 days until the volume is released in Japan, at least. So we do not have to wait that much longer. But like I said, in this video, I'm just going to go over everything that has been revealed so far. You see on the screen, I got the official Coat Twitter account up right now. So I'm just going to be going over pretty much all of the stuff that they have posted and just give you guys my thoughts on the whole thing. So first, let's go ahead and start with the cover illustration. And honestly, this is not a bad illustration. Like, it's my thoughts on this being the cover illustration for the first volume of the third year. It makes sense because it's Horikita and Ryuin, two very important characters, and it's really the leaders. These two are really probably going to have a lot of focus in this third year, especially considering that Ayana Koji transferred classes to the former Class A class, which was completely unexpected for a lot of us. But as we'll see in this video, it makes more sense once you look at just the roster of people in all the classes, because we have some other still illustrations to go over. And plus, Sakaya Nagi got expelled. Well, she left the school by herself. So, Class A was really just left without a leader pretty much. And, so Ayana Koji they needed him. They need him for right now. But we're going to see how that really does play out as this year goes on. But my only thing about this cover specifically is, a lot of people haven't really liked the recent covers because some people feel like that Kinugasa, the author, has just been using really obscure characters to just fill in the volume covers. Because, we had Amikura and Watanabe for Year 2, Volume 9. We had Yamamura and Kito, two very background sort of characters, too, for Year 2, Volume 10. And then we had Sanada and Morishita, two characters that had literally just recently been introduced, be on the cover. So yeah, a lot of people just didn't like the fact that the cover characters just weren't really important. So Kinugasa, maybe he took that criticism and finally put two very, very important characters. And they both look really good on here. Horikita and Ryuin, these are some really good illustrations. My only thing is that I actually didn't hate the idea of a new character being on the volume every cover. Like I just said, a lot of people didn't like it because it was irrelevant characters, but to me, I personally liked that because like I don't know, I just like the idea of just new people, getting some spotlight, and you get to like guess you get to guess who's going to be on the next one. Pretty much, it's much more fun like that for me, because if we just use characters that we already know about, then personally it's just not as exciting for me to just see who to to try to guess and then see who's on the new cover volume. That's just my personal thoughts on it. But again, this cover perfectly understandable. I get it. And so moving on from that, Code just this the Twitter account just posted a lot of stuff, so it's gonna be a lot of stuff to go through. But right here we have these illustrations right here. These of course are not gonna be in the official volume to my knowledge. But basically we just have all four third year classes, and that's crazy to think. Year three, we are finally here. I just want to reiterate that because this is Coates has been around for years upon years, and we are finally just in the last year, the last stretch of volumes, and it's just crazy to just see all of these characters right here from all of the different classes just together like this. Like I think doing these illustrations was a really good idea, and Tomase, who I'm just gonna assume did make all of these. He really cooked with all these. So first obviously we have Horikita's class. We have the new Class A. They finally reached their goal and everything. And this. I pretty much like this. I like how Koenji just has this rose in his mouth. Like, that is just so him. He just still thinks that he is the guy, no matter what. And then we have Kay right here. She's like just standing there, pretty like stern faced, pretty much. Actually, most of these guys are pretty stern faced. And one thing that did kind of shock me is just kind of Hirata's build right here. I don't know why, but to me, Hirata just looks more. First off, I didn't think he was really like this tall, at least compared to Koenji. I did not think he was this tall, and I also didn't. He also looks like buffer to me, but that could be just because of like this their uniform that they have like this, you know. And then we have Kushida over here at the end. It's pretty standard, people. And then, of course, we have Ryuin's class, who is currently the Class B. So, Ryuin was actually their class was actually Class B, back in the second year too, like at the beginning of the second year. But then, of course, they lost that. And then Horikita's class took over B class. So, it'll be interesting to see. I'm sure his class is like really happy that they won the last special exam, and that their position is pretty much good, that they can pretty much still trust Ryuin to like carry them. But I guess I kind of do hope that like the class begins to like the class itself begins to get better, because right now all of the other classes are like smarter than Ryuin's class, right? Like Horikita's class, Aina Koji's class, obviously, because they were Class A for the longest time. And then Ichinose's class, they're not like the smartest class, but they still have like that teamwork and like the good grades to like back it up. So they still have their strength academically. So, I guess I kind of hope that Ryuin's class gets academically better this year. Or, to make it more exciting, his use of tricks and trickery just gets even crazier. We all know Ryuin can pull off some tricks. We know that. But I do like how Isajaki is just straight up mad right here. Like, I don't know why, but everyone else is like I said, pretty stern and like serious. But like Isazaki and then Ibuki too both just look super mad right here for some reason. But then, anyways, going down to Ayana Koji's class here, I really like the fact that he's gotten close to Yamamura right here, and then Morishita. I really like that. And then we got Kito just looking over here in the darkness, which is crazy. I think I saw a video by Coat Fact that said that he kind of like analyzed these pictures, and he kind of deduced that maybe Kito is like looking away like this because he doesn't trust Ayana Koji, because obviously Ayana Koji just kind of transferred to the class like out of nowhere. So Coat Fact pointed out that this may be a representation of Kito not fully trusting Ayanokoji. There's just so many dynamics that we really just have to that I just can't wait to see. Like Ayanokoji's transfer is like definitely one of the biggest things to happen in the series, and I think most people are really just looking forward towards everyone's reaction to it. Because we got like Chabashira's reaction at the end of the previous volume, but like every class is just going to be shaken up by this, and we kind of just want to know how like everyone thinks about it. But besides that, I think I've had time to think more about Ayanokoji's transferring to A class. And I've said in previous videos that I would like us to see more from the former Class A class, because I feel like we just don't have enough characters in there to just really get attached to. So I'm so glad that now we have built up this relationship with at least Yamamura and Morishita, and then I guess Hashimoto too, but like he's kind of a traitor. And Sakai and Nagi kind of left it in Ayanokoji's hands whether to like kick him out of the school or not. So who knows how much longer Hashimoto's gonna be here, but we'll just have to see. And then finally we have Ichinoses class, who is still class D at this moment. And she's, I guess, at the end of the last volume, she just decided to still pretty much go strong with her class. And she still has hope. Somehow she has still given hope to their class that they can get to class A. And I saw someone mention actually in my last video, because I was confused about the sort of like deal that Ayanokoji sort of made with Morishita and Yamamura, because he apparently, like, I'm assuming, told them that he was going to transfer to their class, but how that was going to work in relation to Ichinoses class, because Hoshinomiya, the leader of Ichinoses class, or the teacher, was also already knew that Ayanokoji was going to transfer. So I was just curious how that dynamic was going to be. But basically, someone in my last video in the comments told me that they're basically going to work together, that these two classes are basically going to work together and basically overtake these two classes. And that's the sort of like partnership that they're going to have. They're going to have a sort of, partnership where they're going to work together in order to surpass them. And then I also believe that Coat Fact also pointed out that if you look at the illustrations more closely, these two classes are like standing in the hallway, and then these two classes are standing in front of a classroom. So, and I think that's just great, like, context clues on Coat Fact's part, because I would have never even really like thought of that. But it's like the imagery and foreshadowing here is just off the charts, because you just have Ayanokoji and Ichinoses classes just out in the hallway. Like, they're out in the hallway and they're basically like attacking the Horikita class and Ryuin's class from like the outside. They're trying to like these two are trying to get to where they are at. And I think that is just excellent, like, context clues right there. There's another word that I can't think of that fits it better, but I just think that's really great imagery right there, I guess is the right word. But yeah, so moving on from that illustration, we also have this illustration right here, that this is also not an illustration that's going to be in the volume, but this is one of their Comic Alive illustrations, I believe. Yeah, the cover of the May issue of Comic Alive. I don't exactly know, like, really what that is exactly. So if someone in the comments wants to let me know, like, what exactly Comic Alive is, I think it's just another, from what I'm gonna assume, it's just another, like, sort of promotion sort of way for the volume that they do. But yeah, this was still drawn by the illustrator Tomase. And so we first got a silhouette of this, and people at first thought that this was going to be Kei Karuizawa. That's what people thought at first, because it was a silhouette. But also a lot of me and other people were just like, there's no way that can be K, because it just wouldn't make sense, because they just broke up. They literally just broke up. So like, why would Tomase put them in an illustration together, especially when you can clearly see that they're close like this, you know? But turns out it's just Ichinose with K's sort of ponytail. So I'm not really sure why Tomase and the author decided to do it like this. One theory that I saw was that Ichinose might be doing this to sort of just imitate Kei and like get Ayana Koji to just like her even more, because he was with Kei, so obviously she's trying to like sort of mimic her style to keep Ayana Koji more attached. Even though I don't think she really needs to do that, but it's a good theory. And I'm not saying that it doesn't make sense or anything, but like if we run with the assumption that that theory is true, I don't really feel like Ichinose really would need to do that, because those if you read the last volume, you know that Anakoji and Ichinose are already like super close. Like they're pretty much as close as two people can be, if you know what I'm saying. So that's just my thought with that theory. But besides that, let me just talk about Ichinose and Ayana Koji. Let me just talk about them real quick, and just the fact that I just, despite that theory, I love seeing them together like this. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that I am an Ichinose supporter, and ever since I started being one, I've just wanted to see these two get together for the longest time. And that's not to say that Kei was bad or anything. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying I personally like Ichinose better, and just finally seeing them together is just feels so good for me. And I feel like I should be more excited, but honestly, right now, after what everything they've been through, and after what they did at the end of year 2, volume 12.5, it's just I'm just content, I'm just happy with like where they are sort of right now, especially with one of the illustrations that I'm gonna go over in a minute. But I'm just really happy at just seeing this. I'm just happy, and I'm just content, because it's what Ichinose fans have been wanting, really ever since she, like, I guess, confessed. And maybe even some of us before that, but ever since she confessed on the second island exam, I have just been an Advent Ichinose supporter. And just seeing their relationship just develop has just been such a treat for people like me. And yeah, I'm just happy with this illustration, despite the K theory that I just talked about. But anyways, moving on from that, the last thing I wanted to point out from the official Twitter was this year 2 guidebook. So the guidebook is pretty much just more sort of promotion, sort of, not promotion material, I guess. I don't know, since the volumes are all out and that year is over, but it's just more stuff, more content for us fans to consume. So we have a guide, and the guidebook basically just goes over all what happened in year 2. I didn't get the first year guidebook, but I'm assuming that's kind of just how it goes. And so this is just more good illustrations from Tomase. We have Anakoji, Amasawa, and like the rest of the first years, Amasawa, Nanase, Tsubaki, and Hosen. I really wish we had more Hosen inside the volumes, man, because Hosen, it's like Kinugasa said that he would mainly just focus on the third years, and I think that's just such a shame, because I think a good amount of people can agree he should have used the first years more in towards the latter half of year 2, and especially Hosen for me, because Hosen was just such a threat at the beginning of the second year, and then he kind of just fizzled out in by the time year 2 volume 8 came around. That's pretty much just when he just fizzled out of the story pretty much. But what, it's whatever, again, these illustrations still look good, and the only thing, the last thing I really want to say about it is that it's kind of crazy that they didn't include my boys Yagami and Utomiya. I think I hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, it's kind of crazy because Yagami got well, um, if anyone hasn't read that volume, I'm just gonna not say that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. They didn't include those two guys on this cover. Just Anakoji, the girls, and then Hosen. So yeah, but that's that. So anyways, moving on, we actually have some official illustrations that are actually going to be in the volume that I want to go over real quick. So, and these are all old sort of illustration. Well, this first one is the oldest illustration that we got. This is, I believe, the first illustration that even like came out about the volume. And so obviously it's just these two girls that we've never seen before, that we have no idea like who they are. But the most popular theories, of course, is that they're just two new first year girls. And people kept saying that it's probably like Horikita and Tsubaki's little sisters. I st- I have no idea why that theory is even out there. You know, for some reason, like the code community, like we're really obsessed with like the little siblings in the Code series, especially the younger sisters. I don't know why, but like we're just really obsessed with that idea. But I personally don't think that that theory is correct. I think these are just two new first years that maybe will be important, or maybe they're more girls from Ayana Koji's class. I don't know if anyone has like I don't know if anyone else has thought of that idea, but like these could just be two new characters that are third years and they're in Ayana Koji's class. Because like I said earlier, there are so many people in Class A that we have just no idea who they are. Like I just can't believe like the lacking of depth that Class A has had over the years. Like I'm telling you guys, up until Morishita and Yamamura, we really only knew just a handful of people inside Class A. Like it was mainly just Sakayanagi, Hashimoto. Pretty much like those two, I feel like just ran the show, pretty much. Okay, and so that's why I really hope that these two girls are just more Class A, third year Class A girls in Kiyotaka's class that he has to like sort of convince that he's there to help and everything. But again, they do look pretty young to me, so like maybe they could be new first years, I guess. Again, I have no idea. The only thing I do know is that there's no way that, or like at least I hope I'm right about this, that there's just no way that these guys are, either of these two are anyone's little sister or anything like that. I remember someone said that that this girl in the blonde could be Nagamo's little sister for some reason. I don't know. I guess just the hair color is why people think that, but it's just I don't know, man. Look, I just hopefully whatever their relation to the story is, it's a good relation. So anyways, moving on from that, we then had this illustration come out. So if you see, this is obviously Horikita comforting Kei. She looks like she was just crying, and both of them, they kind of just have to deal with the fact that Anakoji just kind of just left both of them. Like that's pretty crazy. He really left both of these girls like just so almost at the same time. Especially like for Kei, to add insult to injury, he broke up with her and then he left her class entirely. And then obviously Horikita, like Aina Koji has been with her from the start, and then he just leaves her. So obviously these two are obviously going to grow a connection with each other. They're gonna have like maybe they'll have like a strong bond from here out. And I don't really have too much to say about that. I mean, I guess I mean this is just what this scene right here. It's just something that I would just expect to happen in this volume. You'd expect Horikita and Kei to have some sort of talk with each other after everything that they've both been through with Ayana Koji. I mean, honestly, for me personally, just anything involving Kei right now, I just don't really care too much about. And again, that is not to say that I dislike Kei or that that I hate Kei or anything. I'm just saying, I've we've moved on to a new heroine now. Okay, That's all I'm saying. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. That's just my thoughts on this illustration. But moving on, this illustration here is the last one that we've pretty much that the most recent one to come out too. That'll be in the volume. This one's kind of blurry though, so like let me see if I can find like a better sort of looking one for it, because that illustration, that one was blurry as heck. Yeah, here we go. This one's more clear. So this one we have Ichinose, Morishita, and Hashimoto. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where it really seems like these guys, two classes, are gonna really work together, and it's really just gonna be such an interesting dynamic of just how the classes are just gonna work together from now on. And I just think that this is just, and I just like this, I like that Ichinose is in this illustration, that she's actually like talking with Ayana Koji and with people from Class A. Like I just like this so much. Like anything involving Ichinose, I just really like pretty much. I know I sound like such a fanboy or whatever, but that's just I just love my series. I just love this series so much. And I just really like this illustration too. And so I guess we have a little bit of some translations here. You don't seem surprised. Did you already know about Ayana Koji's transfer? And I'm assuming this. I think this is Hashimoto saying this. And then this is Morishita. Yeah, I found out a while ago. And then come to think of it, Morishita also seemed to know that Ishinose found out first. And then she said, "That's right. I knew that she already knew." So okay, so this is interesting. So yeah, this pretty much confirms what the person who commented my last video talked about, that like they pretty much, Ayana Koji told them that what he was going to do, and he told Morishita and Yamamura that Ichinose that he was going to get Ichinose to help them out and everything. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting dynamic, and I cannot wait until to see what happens. So yeah, that's pretty much most of what has come out. The last thing that I want to talk about is actually the synopsis, which we also just got recently. And to be honest, there really isn't too much to the synopsis. I couldn't really find like an image that just has the synopsis in words that looks good. But basically, what's said in the synopsis is nothing that we don't already know. It's year 3. The class, Ayana Koji and Ichinose are going to work together, and then everyone's dealing out with the fallout. And then the only thing that really is new in the synopsis is that the next special exam is actually going to be called it has different translations, but basically what the exam is called is the academic comprehensive test of majority versus minority. That's just one sort of translation that I've found. And it seems so it's pretty much just gonna be another academic test. And at first glance it could seem like sort of a boring test, since we know Ayana Koji is probably gonna sweep it. But when you take into consideration that it says the test of majority versus minority, that translation right there adds a little bit more excitement to it. because it seems, because from that, people are theorizing that there's going to be groups of people who are academically good and then people who are academically bad. And so then that's what's going to shake up this test from being just a normal, like, academic test. So yeah, still, that's still something I think we can look forward to. Hopefully Kinugasa doesn't like drop the ball and make it like a boring exam, which I really hope he doesn't. I really hope he doesn't, because I don't usually the academic sort of exams aren't really the better ones, at least to my knowledge. I don't think. I don't know. People in the community might have a different opinion. But yeah, that's just pretty much my thoughts on everything we know about year 3, volume 1 so far. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know all your thoughts down there in the comments, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.